guys, welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an Instant Classic.
And you're...
And we want to punch Jim Cornette in the face repeatedly until he bleeds because he's stupid.
Hot tag! Hot tag!
Hot tag, okay, I got you. I got you, I'm coming in hot. You know, I'm gonna hit that Big E spear.
We'll see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
What is up, guys? Man, I'm excited. This is your TNA Wrestling review for 3/8/2016, and you can also welcome yourself into the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an Instant Classic, because we teach our fans to be self-sufficient. So welcome your doggone self. But let's get right into it. Let's start out with the video packages for this week. We had a nice set of video packages that, you know, commemorated Kurt Angle's farewelling or and such. You know, it commemorated different moments from his career, like Genesis 2012 or Genesis 2006, where he faced Joe, and you had King of the Mountain 2007, King of the Mountain from 2007. Any thoughts on any of those video packages? It was a nice little commemoration of Kurt Angle.
I mean, doing our WrestleMania reviews, it doesn't feel like it's been that long since Angle's, you know, left WWE. But watching these video packages, it seems like he's been there for so long in TNA, it's weird. But I like them. I like that they're, you know, commemorating, you know, all the things that he's done in TNA. I was, you know, trying to wonder, you know, how much of what, you know, these people were saying was, you know, true and like legitimate, or how much of it was kind of scripted, because, you know, in wrestling, a lot of stuff is, you know, scripted. Even, you know, goodbyes, a lot of them are scripted, especially WWE. You know, they'll have a heartfelt speech that's all scripted and whatever. So I was wondering, like, was this, you know, legit? You know, it was everything that they said, you know, from the heart, or was it kind of scripted? But it was cool anyway that they, you know, did all the video packages. I was also, you know, this whole Angle farewell tour was kind of confusing, because just the fact that he's the American hero, you know, the only Olympic gold medalist in wrestling history, whatever. But this whole tour was not even in the U.S. I was like, that was a little bit confusing to me. I thought they would have at least done the last, you know, his last show in the U.S., being that they always can, you know, call him the American hero and all that. But, you know, it was an emotional show, and I like the back to the video packages though. Video packages were on point. Kind of got away from myself there for a little bit, but
I the ones that involved the fans, I thought that was cool. The Twitter kind of tributes, I thought that was cool. You don't see that much anymore, and it's not like they don't have technology. Obviously, WWE does a little picture, which is cool. But I thought that was cool too. Any thoughts on those before we get into the decay?
Yeah, I like that they kind of showed those, you know, messages from fans and stuff like that. That's something that, you know, WWE wouldn't, you know, they could, but they wouldn't. You know, I don't know why. You know, WWE is such a big company, so maybe, you know, the little people, fans don't really matter. But, you know, it was cool that they kind of, you know, showed those, you know, what he really means to the fans, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and as we continue our TNA review, let's jump into the second, I guess, portion of video packages that we had. We had a nice decay vignette. And I love that the decay vignette kind of continues to evolve every week. You know, we've seen different vignettes like in the past, and more so I've seen, we've talked about some of NXT, NXT reviews where they just stayed the same every single time. And, the decay vignettes, at least they add footage or they add, a little wrinkle here and there just to make it a little bit different, which I think is always a nice touch. And then we get a video package on EC3 kind of revoking his revenge on Spud. It's a lot of R words in one sentence. And the music and the commentary within this, I think, really added a lot of intensity to it. I don't know how you felt about that. Any thoughts on those two things before we jump into the promos?
Yeah, EC3 definitely felt intense. As far as the decay video or vignette, I like it. I'm wondering how much they paid Marilyn Manson to allow them to use part of his music video in the vignette, because it's slowly like putting parts of the the music video from the actual song into the vignette, which is kind of cool. But I noticed and I don't know if you noticed this too, but the video quality in the music video and the vignette are so drastically different that parts of it just looks weird. It looks like, some high school kid did like a video presentation and like just put some stuff together. But that was the only thing that I kind of didn't like about it. It didn't seem consistent, just the quality wise with the editing. But I'm curious to see the next week and the next week and the next week. It's gonna be an entire music video when it's done.
Alrighty, let's continue. Let's jump into our promos for the week. We had the first promo that started out the show was Dixie Carter in the ring with the roster around it, kind of still commemorating Angle, still celebrating Angle. And Lashley would come out and he would, to Casey's opinion, would deliver a cringeworthy promo, but I actually kind of liked it. It was short, it was simple. I don't know. I think I'm more of a punchline guy for Lashley. I just like the little stuff he puts in the end of his promos more than I like the whole thing. I don't know. That's just my kind of personal opinion on that. And then we get the Miracle Mike Bennett would try to kind of get his number one contender spot a little early, but Galloway would come out and interrupt that, and he would end up getting ran off by Galloway because Dixie was not giving him the time of day, nor was she giving him his number one contender spot. Then the last promo we had was Grado, because he's got his proof. Grado, he not only does he don't just keep like money in that fanny pack. He got some proof that he was robbed, that he didn't deserve to be fired. But then he gets attacked by Jesse Goddard and Eli Drake. Mobley Share comes out to help. And then Grado would then end up taking Drake out with a cutter, which I thought was nice. We haven't seen him hit a cutter, I don't think. And then he would steal the briefcase. And the Grado moments when he's trying to run away are classic, because he's like, oh, do I go that way? Do I go that way? He just doesn't know where to go, which I just think it just adds more to the humor of it. So any thoughts on the promos we had tonight? We had the Miracle promo, the initial beginning Dixie Carter promo celebrating Angle, and we also had the Grado. He's got some proof, but we're never going to see it.
I liked I like Dixie when she talk. I like when Drew Galloway talk. Lashley, on the other hand, watching a compilation of paint dry and grass grow would be more entertaining than a Lashley promo. There's no excitement in his voice. It's so just monotone and boring, and it sounded exactly like TNA's new opening music. It's just so dull. I actually thought it was the music again. I thought they were just playing the music again. I really did. The Miracle, Mike Bennett, always classic. He's just really good on the mic. I felt like we didn't see. I felt with him in Ring of Honor than we do now, which is nice. And, you know, him working with Maria, you know, being together and, you know, that little faction, they're obviously married, but it just works really well. I'm kind of, you know, curious to see what they're going to do with him in the long run. And what they're going to do with Maria in the long run, because, you know, I feel like she's a little bit more of a gray area. We're not really sure, you know, what they're going to do with that storyline right now. We thought we were going to see her versus Gail Kim, but then we got Gail Kim versus Jade. So it's kind of a little bit confusing there. Grado, my boy Grado. You know, I mean, I was so confused. I was like, you know, both Jesse and Eli Drake are down. All you gotta do, they said there was like some video surveillance or something, or video proof. All you gotta do is grab the mic and be like, roll the video. That's all he had to do. Why? But no, we gotta wait. We gotta wait another freaking week. Eli freaking Drake.
He's a character. But let's jump into the matches for this week's show. We started off. Pretty sure it's the first match. It's weird, but we started off with the King of the Mountain match for the King of the Mountain Championship. We had Eric Young versus Bram versus Mandrews versus Damo versus Jimmy Havoc versus Will Ospreay. Anyway, I've heard a lot about Will Ospreay actually, so I was excited to see him. I actually thought he was someone else. I can't remember who I thought he was initially. I don't know if it was it might have been Andrew Everett, I think, who I thought he was at first, but I definitely like him. I think he's from England as well. And it was cool to see Jimmy Havoc and Damo. My only issue with this match, like, it's exciting that we get a King of the Mountain match out of nowhere, is that there was no build-up to this match. And I feel like the King of the Mountain match is a little more special than the build-up that it received. Obviously, we'd see Bram and EY work together. EY, my goodness, hit the pile driver on the stairs, even though I can't remember who he hit it on, but the guy was fighting it off as much as possible. And then EY would end up retaining, though. EY would end up becoming eligible and then retaining after doing a diving neck breaker from the top turnbuckle off of the ladder onto Will Ospreay. I definitely like this match, though. I mean, I thought it was good. I just feel like King of the Mountain matches deserve a little more time, and they deserve like a bigger moment, a bigger build-up to them. And I think that's kind of the difficult part of like having the title only defended in King of the Mountain matches, is that it needs that initial build-up to me. But any thoughts on the King of the Mountain match? EY retaining? Casey, any thoughts on the retaining of EY? I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure what happened, but I will just okay, cool. Casey's computer shut down, which is kind of usually my issue, actually, which is funny. Actually, it's usually my issue, and this time it was Casey. But as I continue kind of down through the matches, we got Gail Kim versus Jade for the Knockouts title. I thought this match was a great technical match. It was a really fun to watch technical match. And it's very submission based, which was cool as well, because you don't necessarily see a lot of the different submissions that TNA puts on in their matches. But there really was no big moment to me. You know, I feel like there was really no big moment, but Gail Kim would win by a crossbody roll through. And I would just go ahead and give my overall thoughts too while Casey's on his way back, I suppose. Overall, I feel like I personally I like Lashley. I like they're trying to do something with Lashley, because Lashley has all the potential of being dominant, as you could see by his title run in 2014. But I'm not sure what the plan is with Lashley either. You know, because obviously Mr. Anderson just got released. A little bit of news for those of you who don't know. Mr. Anderson actually just got released not too long ago for, I think, from what I'm hearing, is a failed drug test, but I'm not too sure. I'm not completely positive on that. But I'm wondering if they're trying to push Lashley because he's kind of one of those guys who is kind of a veteran on the roster, and one of the things is, TNA is doing a great job with pushing younger talent, pushing that talent that not a lot of people really know, which is kind of one of those things you got to think about too. But I'm excited. I want to see what's going to happen. Casey sent me technical difficulties, BRB, so hopefully he's coming back very soon. Back to the Maria and Gail Kim thing. I'm hoping that happens too. I'm because I want to see Maria back in the ring. We haven't seen her in a while. I know we saw her one time in Ring of Honor. I think it's ODB when the Briscoes and the Kingdom were kind of battling it out. That was kind of cool. But I'm wondering if we're gonna see her actually get in the ring. Obviously, she does. She does have ring gear. She brought that with her, so that's obviously a nice thing to think about. But I'm thinking about that too. I meant to share kind of my favorite moment, my favorite Kurt Angle, or most memorable, I guess you could say, Kurt Angle moment. So I'll share that while Casey's kind of coming back in. But I felt like my most memorable moment from Kurt Angle has to be like right from the jump, because obviously coming from WWE, you know who Kurt Angle is. He was a star, he was a bona fide star in or at least on his way there in WWE, and he'd been there for a while. Been there for what I think it was 8 years, I think, in WWE. So he'd already made his name, and it was just cool because Samoa Joe was obviously undefeated at that point, and it was just cool that Kurt Angle came in and challenged him. Challenged like the top, I guess you could say, one of the top guys, but also one of the X Division stars too. One of those kind of tweener guys, which was kind of cool at the time. That was kind of one of my most memorable moments because I always remember that headbutt. Angle coming in through the ring and them having a very intense stare down, and then Angle hitting the headbutt on him. I just thought that was a freaking moment that I think in TNA history you'll never forget. Obviously, I didn't even realize Kurt Angle was the first TNA champion. I thought that was kind of cool too. But I think another one of my memorable moments, and it's funny because it involves Joe and Angle again. Obviously, Joe and Angle had been rivals for so long, and then in the King of the Mountain match, I don't remember what year it was exactly. I'm trying to think. It might have been 2009 maybe. In one of the King of the Mountain matches, it was actually both men were climbing up the ladder, and Joe had the title, and Kurt Angle goes up a little bit above him, and Joe just hands him the title. That was a massive heel turn for Samoa Joe. I can't remember, but I think that created a faction, within that. I think with that turn by Samoa Joe, that might have created a faction. But Casey is back, so I was talking about my most memorable moment from TNA of Kurt Angle. You have any memorable moment you can think of? Mine was the heel turn by Samoa Joe when he gave him the title at, what was it, Slammiversary 2009 or something like that. I can't remember the exact year. But then my other one was when Kurt Angle and Joe first feuded, because Joe was like freaking undefeated.
Yeah. I think for me it was when he finally beat Joe's undefeated streak, because nobody thought that anyone would beat it, and did, because he's a cyborg.
Yeah, he is. Let me get your thoughts on. I think we were on the King of the Mountain match.
We were, and then my computer was like, "Fuck you, shut down." But I liked the match. I was a little bit confused as to why Jimmy Havoc was in this match, because I was like, isn't he in it with the Decay, and no one in the Decay is in this match? I was like, okay. If they had a little bit more, build up to it, it would have made more sense for him to be in the match. But I'm not complaining. I liked that he was in the match. I really liked Will and other dude, can't think of his name, big guy. Yeah,
Damo.
him. That one. Yeah, I like them in this match. And I kind of like that we finally got to see a little bit of Bram versus EY. We finally got to see that a little bit, which was kind of cool. Did you notice the first Will was the first one to be eligible to hang the belt? He did such a slow climb up that ladder. He had so much time. I was like, you literally could have hung the title, jumped down, climbed up again, and hung the title. It wasn't even like it was like, halfway through the match and he was, beaten down. No, this was the beginning of the match. And I was like, the selling in these matches makes no sense. And they did it multiple times with multiple guys. I think EY did it too. I was like, come on. But it was a good match. Anytime we see a traditional King of the Mountain match, it's always fun.
I definitely love King of the Mountain. As weird as it is as a stipulation, I definitely like it as a stipulation. It is something different. But next we had Gail Kim versus Jade, and I just felt like this match, it was a good technical match, but it was missing like a big moment to me. Because I think this has been built up for a while, and I think even when Jade came in, it was kind of built up, and as she's kind of become the leader of the Dollhouse, it's been kind of built up. But I just felt like there wasn't like that big moment that we were all expecting. Any thoughts on that match?
Yeah, it was definitely a good match. I was impressed with both of them. But not even that there wasn't a big – there wasn't a big moment, and I think it needed to be. But I think we need more, clarification and, like, storyline as to, how she became the leader of the Dollhouse, how that was decided. Obviously TNA sees something in her, so they're giving her a push. But, we kind of need some more clarification of what's going on with the Dollhouse, how she became, how it was decided that she was the leader. But I did enjoy that match.
Alrighty. Next we would have the Wolves versus Beer Money for the TNA Tag Titles. This was just a good match. I think Beer Money is like, they're bigger guys. They're not like the Wolf size, but they can move around with the Wolves, which I think is always a nice touch. I definitely thought this was a good match. It was a pretty long match too. Only having 4 matches on the card gives a lot of time to these matches. But I definitely like this match. The Richard jumping round kick. Then he gets caught with the lung blower. Like a lot of even like some of the like no selling, I guess you could say, was still really good. It was still really fun to watch. Beer Money wins with DWI. I love watching Beer Money, but I don't know about you, but I'm waiting for the Decay to get those titles because I think that immediately puts a storyline on those titles. Just with the Decay being so mysterious, I think that immediately puts a storyline on the titles. I would love to see them go into a feud with the Wolves, but I think the issue is the Wolves no longer have the titles. And plus, Beer Money also has the case, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. But any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused with that too. Like, first of all, it was a good match. It was a really fun match. Both teams are always fun to watch, no matter who they're facing. I was surprised that Beer Money did win the titles. I didn't expect them to. But then it makes it confusing because they won the titles, but they have the briefcase. So what happens with the I'm so confused. We've never had, I don't think, to my knowledge or to my memory, we haven't had a champion who has the briefcase. Like that kind of brings a new sort of dynamic and, addition to the storyline, which could be interesting. They could kind of hold the titles for ransom. So, we have the titles and we have the briefcase. So, we are gods. We are wrestling gods. But yeah, I would love to see the Decay get the titles. I think that would be cool.
I agree, and maybe see Jimmy Havoc and somebody team up. I'm not sure if he has somebody from his past or something. I know TNA signing a lot of UK people.
Yeah, and maybe, possibly, I don't know, since TNA has all this money that people talk about, give Abyss a new mask. God.
That would be, that they should do that. But next we got the main event of the evening. Man, that seemed like that came fast. The main event of the evening, Kurt Angle versus Bobby Lashley. I still call him Bobby. I don't know who does anymore, but I do. I still believe in Bobby Lashley, just the Bobby portion of people's name. I don't know. It's just my personal opinion. I guess there were too many Bobbies in TNA, so they had to change it around a little bit. But I like this match. Angle had Lashley on his toes for a nice portion of this match, and I think what really gets me about Lashley, and the big guys in general, especially if they can use their power to their to their advantage, is some of the different feats of strength. There were some times when Lashley was just throwing Angle around, like he reversed he did a nice reversal into the snake eyes in the corner, which I thought was really nice. Love Kurt Angle submission battles. Anyone who gets in a submission battle with Kurt Angle's gonna lose, but I love it nonetheless. It's just fun to watch how he can put someone in the ankle lock in pretty much anything ever. But Lashley starts to hit, multiple spears, but Angle would kick out. Angle would eventually lock in the ankle lock. He would grapevine the leg, so you knew it was over. And then as Angle would try to readjust his ankle lock, Lashley would get out of it. He would hit a final third spear, the number of completion, for the win. And then, they would have kind of this heartfelt moment, but you kind of knew that something was going to happen. Lashley would attack Angle. Galloway would come out to save the day, but then he gets caught with a spear. And then, half the entire roster came out, and Lashley speared them. And then EC3 would come out, and they would kind of have a stare down, so maybe we're going to have something with them. So there's a lot of branching going out now, because you obviously got EC3 feuding with Spud, but now you got potential with EC3 and Lashley too. Obviously you have the Raquel Lashley thing maybe still happening. I'm not sure. I thought something was going to happen with this match here, but a lot of people are going to complain that Angle lost his last match. But in my personal opinion, it's one of those things where Angle's been in TNA for 10 years. He's been in wrestling for 18 years at least, between WWE and TNA. So wrestlers a lot of times like to give back to the company, give back to the roster. Lashley's not necessarily a younger guy, but Lashley still has some time. And they still want to make him look like he's a destroyer. And don't get me wrong, who was it? Galloway, he also beat Kurt Angle. He had to face him twice, but he also beat Kurt Angle. So that brings a little bit more prestige to the Galloway-Lashley feud that I think we're going to get to. But any thoughts on the main event of the evening?
I was a little bit confused with the EC3 coming out at the end, because I was like, he's already in a feud. What's going on here? But the only thing better than this match, and this was a good match, don't get me wrong, the only thing better was Angle versus Bobby Roode. I genuinely think that was a better match. I do. Also, a little bit off topic. I know me and DJ were talking about how why would people waste money on Y2AJ shirts? Because it lasted so long. Just watching a video on YouTube. Yeah. But I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. I have mixed feelings with him losing. Obviously, like DJ said, a lot of guys want to give back and put somebody over leaving. A lot of guys will do that. In their last match, they'll put somebody over. But I felt like it should have been more of maybe Drew, just because Drew is, Lashley's already as over as he's going to get. He's already been in TNA for a long time, So, I mean, even before that, I think it should have been somebody else that he kind of had that last match with and put over, just to, give somebody a push on his way out. But, it was a good match. I'm just, I'm wondering what's next for Kurt. Is he going to take some time off? Is he going to try to get, a contract with WWE? What's going on? But, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely exciting and definitely something that kind of is up in the air for Kurt Angle because, the weird part is, TNA obviously doesn't have like a no compete clause, I don't think. And also they tape their shows. So like Kurt Angle could show up on Raw like Monday and everybody would be like, "Oh my God," so that would be a cool moment though. But overall I thought the show was actually it was pretty good. I want to see more from Jade and Gail Kim. And I want to see what they're going to do with the King of the Mountain title because that having that King of the Mountain portion on it, it has its own kind of prestige to it. But I'm still wondering what the plan is for that title and EY and Bram and everything. There's so many ways they can go with a lot of things. So I think it is kind of nice that to keep that kind of uncertainty in your mind a little bit because then when things start to happen, like Shane McMahon comes out on Raw, you're more excited about it. But it definitely exciting. That's your TNA review for 3/8/2016 coming up next. If you subscribe, or you don't have to, but if you subscribe, you might it might just land in the email or land in the subscription box. It's definitely gonna land in the subscription box. But we got the WrestleMania 12 review. I don't know why I keep trying to say 13. I really do. WrestleMania 12 review coming up soon, which was the main event was Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. I almost said Bret Michaels. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in the Iron Man match. So that should be a good one coming up very, very soon. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, comment, talk about this show, talk about any other show. We'll see you guys later.